Yeah, it's still taking care of that business ever still. Grandpa Coyote and the Coyote Medicine Show. Ooh, here on the Everclear Hazy Radio Network, dear. Oh, we got the rock and the roll on this morning. Musical therapy, such as I wanted to do for quite some time now. So this morning I just let myself loose, set our angels free. It says, let's see what we can do. Speaking through the music too, baby. Of course we always do. That music is like our heart in motion, holding up, a reflective mirror to us so we can see how really divine we are. And let go of all the bullshit and just unwind and relax and be okay within ourselves. That's what it's all about. That one moment where you realize, just like the olive tree and the branch thereon and the fruit thereof, man. You're content to be what you are. You're happy to be glowing in the sun and be a representation of life rooted in the earthly reality. And there've been a lot of weather come by and a few heinous beings that kick you up, scratch you up, mark you up, dry you out, try to kill you down, man. But boy, like the coyote medicine in the olive tree, baby, you grow and you glow. And you can become not only a delightful treat, that's really sweet on the tongue, but, just so earthy and pure. But also, man, the oil of the gods, man. Yeah, you can anoint yourself with this oil. That means put a little dab on you somewhere. And babies, you experience what purity really is. You see, this is the beginning of you, I, all of us finding our magic and tricking ourselves into it in that sweet old coyote way. So I want you to get your hands on some extra virgin organic olive oil today and see where it leads you. I mean, if you have some time. If you don't, it's okay. You don't have to do anything here, man. It's just a way of representing ourselves to ourselves and replicating our life back into being so we can be the full presence that we are and let all this chicken doo-doo that we've lived in go, man. I mean, that's great fertilizer if you don't put it on too heavy, If you put it on too thick, kills everything, Put it on just right, it enriches and enhances the environment so greatly that everything wants to grow in it. And so they do. And that's how we rise up the jungle of love, man. You can hardly walk through it, though, so you have to fly over it, man, and appreciate it from there. You can reach down every now and then, a little tree with a little fruit on it will call to you. You can reach down there and snatch a little fruit. It's happy to share. And there ain't no undoing of your wisdom there anymore. I mean, that was a long time ago. That was metaphorical, of course, just like this is. Because we truthfully do live in paradise. See, when they talk about, the funny things, man, the weird little metaphors in this life that are so apt, yet so impure, It's strange how we do this. But, these people have a story about a rapture. Well, that's exactly what happens in a way. And it ain't no sacred soul, the only us and nobody else, kind of thing. It's not like that at all. It includes everyone. Some may rise up early, just like, there's early petals on the blossom, but they just keep growing. Pretty soon it's the fullest blossom you ever seen. Rich with texture and fragrance and colorful expression, so much that you just live it vibrantly alive, sweetly content in the glorious beauty of the expression of the mother love heart that gave us birth. We came up from the earth, enhanced by the sky. And in the flower of the blossoming life of love do we unify, earth and sky. We are one in the blossoming sun. We are the sun. That's why a flower reflects the shape, the form, the brilliance, the beauty of the real sun. The sun that is the only one. You see, many have perceived the dark star on its way, a big thing, man, the Death Star. Yes, indeed. And they thought, well, it's the doom and gloom of humanity returning to bite us on the ass again, and purify us through some kind of Armageddon experience into the totality of our life again, Well, really, it's about undoing the fixtures here that have held everything in this illusion we call living and dying, you see. It's a unifying form. It's equity returning. It's the brilliance of the sun becoming just that, pure, clear. The portal to paradise, the gateway of love. See, so it draws near, in our perception, it draws nearer and nearer to the earth in our 3D world. This is another reason why they're spraying in the sky, trying to stop that effect, but it just amplifies it, you know. Gets it caught inside and makes it bounce around, gets warmer, not colder, you know. Silly kids. They forget what they're up to sometimes. They trip over their nose trying to save a nickel, you know, while they're spending trillions of dollars on, you know, facetious stuff that even a little child could see through. In fact, a little child does. See, this is how we rise above it. We don't get stuck in the fray anymore. We understand we're the audience as well as the players, but we're the audience. We're meant to enjoy it, to enjoy the drama, the comedy, the satire, the heavy irony, the beauty, the poetry, the symmetry, the amazing synchronicity that happens when everybody on the set, and there's billions and billions and trillions and gazillions of souls that play here, man. And wow, we're just all in total synchronicity. See, and this is what this life has demonstrated to us through all of its ineptness as well as its epness, you know. Epiness, yeah. Emily Post, it's epi, baby. It's just right, in other words, you know. And what that means is like, you know, in the clear view of the sun, we see what's been done more as a movie and a suggestion, an experience that we created for ourselves, much as you experience watching the boob tube or the big screen there at the theater that cost you $25 and $35 for popcorn. Thank you very much. And they take it with a smile too, because they're paid $3 an hour to do so, man. Wow, the nobility behind the popcorn counter. See, we missed all that. You tend to walk right by it. $25 for popcorn? Well, then you pay it and you go on your way, man. And you don't even notice the poor person, you know, that you just blew up at, you know. It wasn't their fault. It's $25. They're getting $3 an hour. They didn't set that policy. But there's the change we see in the whole business of this theater, don't you see? Because we just become that one too. See, we're all of it. We're the popcorn we munch on. We're the little greasy bucket it's held in. We're the love that brings us into this theater again and again until we finish the whole movie and get it just right. And then the whole theater arises, I mean, you know, becomes the city of light. That's your rapture right there. That's the human intelligence beginning to reform itself. It's had this experience. It's pleased with its experience. It's okay with all of it, and that's what it demonstrates in that moment of a few thousand years ago, where life and death and birth all came together as one, and all the directions joined, and this person, living in this projected reality, let's say, projection of the heart, of course, found that out, and learned of his own true characteristics that he truthfully did live beyond it. She too, there was two of them, and they were tortured tremendously, man. Tortured tremendously. For what? The drama of it, to draw all of that complete negativity of the whole movie to a culminating point, the way Hollywood does, man. So it could be resolved in the way of Cecil B. DeMille, and with a little Francis Ford Coppola thrown in there just for seasoning, and maybe a little, Spielberg too. I think so, man. He knows how to put the mystical into it in a way you can understand it and live it, you know. Spielberg's a genius. Well, so are you, baby. Me too. We're all brilliant freaking stars. And we are honored by the universe for our incredible and amazing performance here. I mean, as we look back at the reviews, you won't believe how well we've done here. My God, we fooled them all with our coyote medicine, our coyote ways. The moon rising in her heart to warm up the sun, man. And now they're one. You see, the dark star was our mythos, biting us on the ass again and again, saying, come on, get out of this death thing, man, so we can be again, so we can be together again. See, there's a prohibition when you're living in polarity of those two poles ever coming together. And if they get too close to each other, tremendous burst of resistant energy compels them back to the other side of the universe. Because that's where they rightfully be. They're polarities, man. They're not meant to be joined together, are they? Oh, yes, they are. See, that was the old illusion. That's what that's the equation. That's life and death right there, see. Oh, now you're alive on this side and you're dead on that side. See, and there's two sides to it. There's polarity, not just gender. There's heaven and hell, you know, earth and paradise, whatever you want to call it, man, you know, by whatever terms you choose to describe it. But it's the extreme. So on the one side is the extreme love, and on the other side is extreme nothingness. Because that's the opposite of love. And this is the choice we're making all the way through history, again and again. Will we want to be nothing, or do we want to be something? Do we want to feel it? Do we want to be real in it? Or do we just want to, like, be numb to it and let it flow by? You know, I mean, we had that choice, and that's death and life. That's the real choice in life. See, that's what it all ultimately comes down to. Do you want to be real in it? Do you want to live in it and feel it? Do you want to rise up in your conscious presence and not feel so overwhelmed by your own presence, let alone everything else that's going on around you? Do you want to be at peace and totally content in yourself? Well, shit, baby. Don't resist it. Don't refuse. It's right there right now inside of you. You know, the more you resist, the more, impetus you give it. So it does become an overwhelming thing. You get bowled over by it. You know, if you think you can resist, that makes the resistance that much stronger. And the stronger it gets, the less you can really resist. You get to that point where you've stretched yourself to the maximum. Bam! It all comes crashing back in a very loving way. It's gentle. And it's respectful of your personal person as well as everything in this reality. But see, even though it's in a personal experience, it's lived by the whole audience that's there with you. And we're all brothers and sisters here on the cast and crew in the Mother Earth reality, you know, all of it. Including the E.T. presences, the admirals, the generals, the dark dudes and dudettes shadowily moving around in the background and doing all their strange rituals and shit, you know. You only get a glimpse of that every now and then in the movie, but because we didn't want to make that too real, you know, because it just wouldn't be right. You know, it gives too much credit to stuff that ain't worthy. In a sense, you see. In another sense, baby, you know, it's a great movie, and we had to have some really deep, dark shit to make it look real. Make it look right. I mean, if we're going to be polarity, we're going to do the whole thing, man. You know, back out to those outer edges, man. And there's birth and death again, you know. So where are we resolving that? Understanding that the mechanisms, understanding that we really are the projector, the perception that lives in the live. And so therefore, you know, it's flowing through us. Yeah, there's a director and a writer, a script writer and all that stuff. But the writer is the heart, your own heart. And everybody else's too, because see, just like the audience, you know, just like the audience, when the movie's being made, and it's just in little scraps and scripts here, you know, and they're out there in, you know, Spain and over to Africa and then back over to the Canary Islands and then clear over to Hawaii to finish it, you know, all this location shooting, partying down. You know, I mean, when we're making a movie, we like to have fun time, just like the movie crews do. So we do. It's craziness in motion, you know. Wow. Well, they get a little extreme and exaggerated here, but, you know, we live it in a more mystical way, which is very, very clear and very, very dear. So we can be kind of like the Munchkins in the Wizard of Oz. We're innocent little loves. We just love everything and everybody and want to give them a lollipop and sweeten their life up a little bit. Isn't that the way it goes? You see, I mean, when you get right down to the root essence of every human soul, that's what is our heart's desire. Just like we all want to be super loved. We all want to be the superstar, and every one of us is. You see how far we've gone from it? But it's for the dramatic purpose of it, the soul experience of it, the deepening, the ripening of the ever-loving mother love that could take anything and proved it to us again and again and again. Because guess what? Even though we've been through 12 really basic, real reruns here in this movie, I mean remakes, let's say, you know, we finally get it right here in the 13th, you see. The zodiac represents all that, the long cycle and season of time and the return to the divine right there in the 13th symbol. Whatever that is for you, see, it's just a mystical thing, so it can be symbolized any way it wants to. And every person has their own perception. Yet, when you rise in this conscious presence of your own personal universe, you see that all these personal universes are like little tiny sub-electrons and neutrons and protons and shit banging around in the little enlightened subatomic particles of life, you know, the infinitesimal, the tiniest thing can ever be, a little speck of light, really. that moves around, creates motion in a circular way. And that's the basis of life, and through its desire, it feels the flow of love coming into it as a little beam of light. And it seeks to fulfill itself by creating a person or a thing, a presence around it. Some way to create beauty and wonder that we can appreciate and experience in creation. So that little tiny speck of light starts whirling around, and it draws, because it creates a magnetic energy when it's whirling. And it floats around and brings in more and more of them little beams of light, and pretty soon there's a molecule, and then there's a whole universe with a gazillion, billion, trillion, quadrazillion lives in it, each one of them uniquely expressed in its own ever-present form in that moment of time in which it's created, and deeply experienced by the singular soul and present in all beings and persons and things, and deeply nurtured in the bosom of that very heart that sought orgasmically to create all of that, and realized the contentment of it when she tortured herself to death in the long ago moment of right now, and brought herself back to life. Much as a representation of what we've been living as cycles and seasons, but the completion thereof, just like there's a completion of the cycle of the zodiac, you see, even though it goes on forever and never really ends. These are just stages and steps. And this is where it all begins. And that's what's symbolized in that moment of time that we find so divine, so mystifying, that we could never let go. We love it, hate it, ignore it, whatever. It's there. And it's real. And that's why they create whole religions around it, which for the most part tend to want to mislead us and misguide us. But the essence of it's there in every one of them. And religions are nothing but a belief, a wish. The man behind the curtain really wants to be the wizard. Wants to be able to impress people and change things for the better, make everybody a happy life. No wicked witches, no nothing, no polarities, man. Just a life that knows how to enjoy itself. It's like the polarities lose their magnetism, that which has kept them opposed, and find the singularity of their expression, though they be expressed as two different little molecules made of subatomic particles. They start to see the unity of their twin-like nature, you see, because each is a reflection of the other, and both are cosmically the same. And they're not divided in the least. They're unified. It's two molecules becoming one present. That's about a gazillion, billion, quadrazillion little subatomic particles coming together. It's the very source essence of life. The beginning moment which lasts forever, because there is no beginning. There's a flow and a nature to it. A natural nature that we've kind of misjudged and misled ourselves away from, though many, we really appreciate the indigenous persons that have held their nature to the land, the earth, and all of her living expression. Even warped as that can even be. You got to understand, we lived in an upside-down reality, but it's getting right side up now. We're starting to see the truth, be the truth, live the true person that we are, not just the projected person. And then we see the unity of singular elements of light within us, right on to the grander forms of expression of life around us, the huge universes and galaxies, and the huge bursts of life that contain so much life, and help it reform its expression too. You see, if you look around you in the night sky, see nothing but a celebration going on. That's what you feel, that's what you see, baby, and that's what you'll see if you step out again tonight and take a look, especially in the early morning, man, We're going to that place now where life and death and day and night and earth and living, become a no more presence, but an every, always presence. We combine it all in the cosmic mix of our heart, appreciating the nurturing effect even of the tyranny in it, and loving ourselves out of it. We let go of the burden that's made us so pained that we could destroy and pick on one another with such great torment intended. You see, that was us trying to remind ourselves of us and bring it back to life, trying to beat ourselves back to life when we felt deaders in hell inside. And that is living hell. And we chose to live it in this acting sort of way that you could really believe. More than method acting ever dreamed of being. We created a whole reality around us, cast and crew. And look at the synchronicity, even in that chaotic expression of life we called Mother Earth and the universe around it, etc. And our place in it, which felt so alone. And therefore it had to create, and always does, and always will. And there is no real polarity to it. There's magic in it, however you do it. That's real life loving its way into being. Babies, and you in the flow today on this thrilling Thursday here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Where else but the ever-loving, sweethearted center of your universal heart, which is mine and Oki's too. By the way, Oki sends his love, my little not so whiny weenie dog anymore. He's pretty chill nowadays, man. You know, he wants y'all to know he's having a great time here in the Rocky Mountain High, and from his little heart, you know, he wags his tail and says, "Yes, you can fly. You can fly. Can I fly with you? Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go." Oh, the cosmic mega vision of love coming at you from high above and way down below too, babies. Because we got you in the flow here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Ooh, your morning wake-up call and so much more. The universal heart lived as a living work of art, coming forward musically in a thrilling Thursday in a tunage, musical sort of way, babies. Ooh, because there's a lot of energy in this mega vision we share with you from way up high in the 9,000 feet high sky, and then some. You know, babies, ooh, this is just where we begin to take off and fly, gather together, and be the unified heart of oneness. We repaint our earth, we repaint our life. We learn to live in the vision of it, babies. Inside the projector is all of the outer person and earth created all around it too, man. Everything inside the inner person is one that we all are together. Inside of each one another, and man, just rocking with it. The journey of love. Pardon me for my enthusiasm, but my love does enthuse right now. It's boiling over just like my little puppy dogs outside. They're having too much fun barking at each other. But the sun's out now and they're out there. Ooh, boy, it's a brilliant day today. Have you noticed that, man? I feel like there's going to be stars, visible stars in the sky today, man. You know, along with some rainbows, you betcha, man. You know, and in those rainbow bows, we'll see the living color of our own life, because we already do, man. We create them inside, that's what we do, and they become visible to me and you and everybody else too, you know. We're gathering the family of the heart back together again, man. The fractured reality of the busted down Humpty Dumpty is no more. And how we do that? Reverse time to its beginning point. Yeah, it's so coyote indeed. Kind of wicked, fulfilling your need in the most delightful sort of way, you see. It's not about contrast. It's about color. It's about a vision that is so comfortable within itself that all energies emerge in a full presence. A divine art of creation in motion, expressed in the most feeling and colorful of ways. The rainbow of love, unified in all of this magnetic energy we've experienced here. There's flows and waves and weaves to it all over the place, man. And man, when you step back and start to see it for real, wow, it never was undone. It just seemed to be. You see, that's how we undid it. Recognizing our truth. We live in our own creation. We are the energy of love that projects it into being. Through us, the sunlight passes into the material realm, and way beyond it, too. We're multi-dimensional. We give new definition to dimensional because there is one expressive dimension. And that be the orgasmic heart. And it's achievable right now, right there within our ever-present self, for it's already there. See, there's 1 second, 1 moment in time, when everything becomes divine. And that's when mama and son, more or less, that's a symbolism, it's a metaphor. But mother and son, the loving ones, the direct light, and the mother which gives it color, depth, dimension, emotion, living, experience. When each are seen as the same one. And mother glows in son, and son glows in mother, you see. That's the unity of three, the love element B, the reality. The other two expressive points of it, see, ain't equally powerful because they triangulate, each is a point. In a pyramid, kind of, yeah. But it's all gathered there in the center of you, me, us. Jizo, it's us. Living in that contented moment. When we realize we've created it. Every gentle, not so gentle, every spectacular, every awesome moment of it, man. We design it as we live in it. It's called the moment of now by some, but this is the Anhao moment, you see. This is the living demonstration of the truth of that love. You don't have to go and meditate for 1,000 years in the Himalayas to get it right, man. You did that already anyway, a few thousand years back. I seen you do it. That didn't do much good, though, did it? Yes, it did. Did us a lot of good, man. People don't realize how motivated we are by the common heart in us all. And if somebody goes and sits on a mountain and meditates, say, for 30 years, really, which is more practical, they're given that task by the one heart in all. Somebody becomes a truck driver and spends 3 million miles rolling down the highway and reacquainting himself with life, etc., man, and wearing himself out while he's at it, but having a great time doing it, living life to its fullest. Well, that's what the universal heart required of him for that moment in time, see? It all fits together in the heart of the divine. We're all given our places to be, and from that we live in that place where we create it momentarily, right there now. You see, it's in what we feel, but it's in embracing. So you got to go past the old division and see the revision, which is the truth. See, magnetism isn't real, but the dynamic, what do you call it, draw of the heart is. Polarity, you know, magnetism only exists in polarity. So the magnetic reality comes undone as we see the rise of mother and son triangulated inside of our personal being and presence and brought forward as the living art of creation that we are, unified. A singular thought presence, a singular voice, chanting out its joy through the song of the heart, the activity of love uniting with itself once again, and seeing past the old misperception that we projected into being. See, somebody put a filter over our lens, so we couldn't even see that we were the projector. We got all caught up in the movie for a while, man. Now's the Anhao, though, and that happened a few thousand years ago again, man. We all united there in that singular moment where we gave it up and got it back. Gave up death. So now the Death Star, that big myth that we see coming up from behind the sun, evolves as we've done. Rising up out of the fear of what we've done here and seeing it clear, the heart in motion in all that we've projected into being. And baby's right before our very eyes. The dark star becomes as one with the sun. Uniting. That's the love. That's where we stored it away. It was behind our darkest illusion. The biggest boogeyman we could create. The return of hell, even worse than what we live in already. Oh my God. We had to drop back to ourselves somehow. We were so macabre in our drama, man. We so enjoyed the masochistic side of it, you know. Give me pain, give me more pain. Oh God, I love this pain. See, there's love in that, isn't there? And finally you realize there ain't no pain and you got no gain, but you got it already, see, by living through it as what? An emotion. Yeah. A feeling. A sense of removal. Becoming a target, maybe, man. A target of what? The ultimate love. Because look at what they hurl at you. It's total love and respect for life. That's what behind everything in this life, everything, comes from the director inside the heart. The producer and the director. You see? See the unity? They work together. If one's more powerful than the other, it don't work. But if the producer and the director are in total agreement, wow, Hollywood's going to be so jealous now. In fact, they already are, man. That's why they've been trying to turn the other way and be totally CIA. They figure they lost the battle, so now they're going to get even, you know, with the people and just brainwash the hell out of them or bore them to death. You know, I mean, shit. Like the devil's dancing before the camera there all the time. But you know what? She's kind of cute. I like her style, too, man. See? That's how we blow the CIA away. We don't take them so damn serious anymore. We learn to dance with the devils in our lives, man. Because we create them right there in the moment of now. So we have a little activity to keep us going on, man. You know, otherwise we'd be bored out of our skull. And that's demonic, man. That's hell. You see? And humans know what boredom is. I think we're the only ones in the universe that do, because everybody else is just so delighted to be alive and doing it. Whether they're evil or nasty or whatever the perception's been, you know. When the undividing comes, that you're in the divine feminine one, the one heart that creates all. And there's mercy in every bit of it, you know, because you come back to the projective heart. The flow of love, the center of it all, man. That's our natural place of being. Given through the old grandfather Koyote himself. I can be the ultimate trickster. And have been many times before, because I had to trick us all into it. Because it was tricky, don't you see? Without that seasoning that we've been through, shit. How could we enjoy the sun, let alone anything else we've done? And now we find it in the orgasmic one. What a pleasure to be reunited with our Son and no longer live as the divided one. Narrow is the way, but boy, it expands out into everything, don't it? And the way is right here, right now, and it ain't so narrow, is it? We thought it was. Thought it was kind of confining. See how we reconceive it now. That's megavision. Coming to you clear. From 9,000 feet high in this Rocky Mountain sky, from this old heart that holds himself so dear as to draw near to the likes of all of us and remind us in a reflective sort of way of what really be in this reality and of what we are, baby. Nothing to fear here, dear. Just be. Live this megavision right along with me. Let's see what we be, eh? Ooh, babies, that's a thrill in the second here, and it. Ooh, eternal second of love. And it ain't the second, it's the first. It's the one moment. It's the unifying moment. See, this is what the crisscross symbolism represents, and it's warped when you put another angle on it. No, the crisscross is the pure thing, man. The 4 directions, which are really the 7, but you figure that out later. But that's the symbol of humanity. It's not given as feminine and masculine. It's given as the crisscross, the crossroads of life, the point of beginning, where all energies unify, boom, by coming in direct like the sunlight does, boom. And when they collide, it's like a new, clear explosion. And an exposure too, because in this you get it clear. It's, you know, an awakening to the divine in everything, dear. That's why we're here. We're here to create that moment. That's why we be who we be, why we go through what we do, why we are who we are. the one magnetic old heart inside of each and every one of us that is the only true magnetism that is, and it doesn't draw into it. It explodes out of it, gently so, not violently, for there is no violence in the reality of truth. That passed away today, a few moments ago, don't you know? And we gave it revision. We planted that old ashes to ashes, dust to dust in the ground, buried it over, and then said, hey, look what we found. Because it emoted forward from the earth, transformed completely, and made within us a whole presence of person, no longer divided but unified in the projection of its own centered creation. Crisscross. Salute, people, brothers and sisters of the heart, angelic realm that we are. Bless our sweet little Bippy. By golly, I think I did turn out to be a hippie. How about you?